Why do many people find being left on read delivered to be rude? I don't read messages until I'm ready to reply to them. In fact, this is how I can keep a handle on what emails, messages, DMs need a reply, and which ones have already been replied to. So if I'm left on read, I assume that the person does not wish to reply to me. And this belief turns out to be correct 99% of the time. My messages stay undelivered even after the person replies. Is this normal? It depends. If I ask a question or send a text that requires a response, I hate getting left on read. But not everything needs a response. People need to make up their mind if they would prefer to be left undelivered or read. I will hide my read receipts from you if you want me to. Just let me know which you want it to say. I get mixed messages on what makes people less mad. No, I will not reply. It's a relatively very new phenomenon that basically anyone in your life gets access to you at all times. It was only 20-30 years ago that if you left the house for the day, you were actually gone. You return messages when you come back hours or days later. The phone is there for my convenience. It's not an electronic leash. If it's not convenient for me to talk for any reason, including just not feeling social right now, I'm not obligated to answer. This is not rude, this is a normal personal boundary. I suppose it's like if in real life I came up to you and asked you a question, and you just looked at me then turned around and walked off without saying anything. Pretty rude if you ask me, lol. Because we've turned into a society where we think phones mean instant access to anyone. My phone is for my convenience, not yours. Your phone is for your convenience, not mine. Because people think that just because you can receive messages anytime, that you're obligated to drop whatever you're doing to fully answer them. A lot of people who are glued to their phones assume you are glued to yours too. My read receipts and active online are switched off, so you can GTF if you're offended. If you send me a little meaningless message, then I will read and respond in my own time and with the urgency I think it warrants. If it's more important to you, you need to call me. Not giving a shit literally requires no effort. Learn this art and be free. The whole telling someone if their message has been read or not is one of the worst additions to society ever. It turns grown adults into little babies. Anyone under 30 probably grew up constantly being online and in communication with people. They only know instant gratification because that's how they were raised. Many of them don't have any concept of living without a phone on their person, if not in their hand, and can't fathom not replying to something immediately. I hate how people here are answering this question in a dishonest way. I doubt that anyone would find it rude if you didn't reply a message after a certain period of time. At least everyone has a job and life to live. Where it becomes a problem is when you leave a message that requires a response for 2, 3, 4 days without answering it. But you have time to post on your Facebook wall and WhatsApp status every 2 seconds. Oh, what is this? Read delivered is reassurance that they got it. What's the rude part? People don't like being reminded that they aren't that important. I don't get it either. I know there are situations where being left on read sucks, but there are plenty of other instances that are completely fine. For example, if I'm at work or busy and I get a text, I'll read it just so the notification on my phone will go away. If it's not important, then I'll wait until my break to respond. It's not going to hurt you to wait a few hours. I have a friend and we text weekly, sometimes daily. She'll text me or I'll text her. There are times when hours or days go by before one of us responds. It's not that we're ignoring each other. There's just really nothing to respond within the moment. If it were important or we're trying to make plans, then it would be different, but we call each other for stuff like that. Why do many people expect a voicemail be returned immediately? Because they are self-absorbed gits who don't understand the relative advantages of asynchronous communication and expect others to communicate synchronously over asynchronous communication channels. I turn off read receipts in any app that will let me and use an Android, so people don't have to anguish over the fact that I will reply to them when I care to. People who fuss over getting left on read also seem to have little understanding of the relative time it takes to respond to a message versus the amount of time it takes to read it. And they have so little sense of self-worth that they think a few minutes without a response reflects the disdain of the person they are messaging rather than their own overinflated sense of self-importance or disappointment that the other person is doing other things. If you don't want asynchronous communication, don't use an asynchronous means of communication. Just because I have time and the context allows me to read it doesn't mean I can reply. If you need to chat, call me FFS. Driving. Do you really want someone reading your messages while they are driving? Read receipts are toxic and always have been. Nobody is entitled to someone else's time just because they read the message. The whole point of leaving messages is so they can be responded to later. It's not a live call. It's one thing to be actively talking to someone and they disappear, but being upset because someone simply looked at a message and didn't respond is entitled behavior.